Japan has delivered a landmark political verdict. Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi has scored a historic snap election landslide. Her ruling coalition secured a two-thirds majority in the powerful lower house of parliament for the first time ever. Takaichi's Liberal Democratic Party won well over 300 of the 465 seats contested together with its coalition partner. This massive victory comes just months after Takaichi took office, making her snap election gamble a resounding success. The 64-year-old leader called a snap election soon after taking office, saying she would step down if she failed to win a simple majority. This sweeping mandate gives Japan's first female prime minister unprecedented political strength to push through her conservative agenda and shape the country's future over the next 4 years. And after her stunning election victory, Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi underlined her economic priorities.
My main objective, the core of what I have advocated since the very first party leadership election, is the refundable tax credit. For middle and low-income earners, social insurance premiums weigh the heaviest and are regressive, so I really want to address that.
Takaichi has promised responsible fiscal management, saying her government will prioritize sustainable public finances while boosting both public and private investment. She says her goal is to build a strong, resilient and competitive economy for Japan's 123 million people. On the foreign policy front, the region is watching closely. Takaichi has taken a tough stance on security, including boosting Japan's defense budget and taking a hard line on China. Her previous comments suggesting possible military action if China moves against Taiwan had triggered sharp reactions from Beijing. Now, with no immediate election pressure, analysts say she may seek to lower tensions and stabilize relations with China while strengthening ties with the United States. Financial markets, meanwhile, also reacted positively. Japan's benchmark Nikkei index jumped around 5% to hit a new record high. Investors are betting on higher government spending, continued easy monetary policy, and stronger economic growth. However, there are also concerns about Japan's massive public debt and the impact of proposed tax cuts and increased spending.
Even in the current situation, flexibility is my strong point. So if there are good proposals from opposition parties, I will take them seriously.
Domestic reactions have been mixed. Many voters welcomed a focus on national security, immigration controls and economic growth. Others, especially young voters, said they hoped for more attention to inflation and social issues.
After the results announcement, my anxiety is actually stronger. The LDP, having a lot of power, does have advantages, but I am worried about how Japan will deal with other countries, especially China, and also the US. From a business perspective too, that's a concern going forward.
And now world leaders have rushed to congratulate her. US President Donald Trump praised her decisive leadership and conservative agenda. Ahead of the snap polls, Trump had publicly endorsed Takaichi, praising her as a strong, decisive and patriotic leader. He had said that she would not let the Japanese people down. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi called its results a landmark victory and said that India-Japan ties will reach new heights. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni too sent warm wishes, highlighting strong strategic partnership. Once a heavy metal drummer and an admirer of Margaret Thatcher, Sanae Takaichi has emerged as one of Japan's most powerful leaders in decades. Now, with the historic mandate, all eyes are on how she reshapes Japan's economy, security and global role. And for deeper insights, we have with us Jeffrey J. Hall, who is a lecturer specializing in Japanese politics at Kanda University of International Studies, joining us live from Chiba, Japan. Jeffrey, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
With this sweeping mandate and a two-thirds majority, Prime Minister Takaichi now has unprecedented political space. What major policy moves do you expect her to prioritize, especially given the tensions between her promises of tax cuts, higher spending, and Japan's massive public debt?
Well, as you introduced briefly earlier, there is a lot of concern about the cost of living among voters, especially younger working-age voters. And Takaichi has pledged in the past to cut the consumption tax on food. And this is a very big promise to be made. But during the campaign, she didn't talk about it as much. And the LDP's manifesto has said that they will consider it. And now she's talking about having a national conference to discuss it and make a decision. So the issue of tax cuts, that something that voters really want, but might not be fiscally responsible, is now up in the air. And people are thinking that perhaps she isn't actually going to deliver on that, and she'll try to have some other policy focus to distract voters from the economy.
With her tough stance on China and strong comments on Taiwan, do you expect relations with Beijing to escalate or stabilize after the landslide?
In this situation, we have Beijing announcing after Takaichi's victory that they still expect her to retract her remark about defending Taiwan. But I doubt she will do that, because this election has shown that the voters approved of her strong stance against China. And she has no reason whatsoever to really walk back those remarks on Taiwan. It'll just make her look weak. But I don't think she has much reason to escalate things either. So in this case, the matter of escalation is probably something that is up to China to decide. And Takaichi has put in the party manifesto that they will respond calmly to China. So I think she's open to dialogue, but the Taiwan issue is one in which the Chinese are very sensitive, and they do not like changes to the status quo.
Donald Trump had openly endorsed Takaichi before the polls. How could this clear political alignment shape regional security?
Well, the relationship with Trump is extremely important for Japan. Japan's national security depends on the U.S. alliance. And if Trump were to not help Japan in an emergency, it would be a major problem for Japan. So the number one goal of Takaichi since becoming prime minister has been to become friends with Trump, to be as friendly as possible with Trump, to praise him, to flatter him, to give him gifts, and to fulfill the Japanese side of the trade agreement made under her predecessor. However, with her visit to Washington coming next month, there are reports in Japanese newspapers today that Donald Trump is privately frustrated that Japan hasn't acted quickly enough to move on its promised investments in the United States. So a big challenge that she's going to have to face is to go to Washington and convince Trump that Japan is not stalling on purpose. There are reasons for these delays, and that Japan is going to deliver the money that Trump really wants to go flowing into the U.S. economy.
Right. And that was Jeffrey J. Hall, lecturer at Kanna University of International Studies. Thanks for sharing your insights with Firstpost.
Power doesn't end quietly. Some deaths are not accidents. They are messages. A gunshot. A crowd. A country frozen. The killer disappears. The questions don't. This is not just about who died. It's about what followed. Governments fell. Armies moved. History rewrote itself. 5 leaders. 5 moments. One pattern. The assassination.